Greetings folks, I'm just going to share with you, if I may, some comments that David Brevik has made recently on his live stream. So David Brevik is developing a game called It Lurks Below, and I recommend you check it out actually. It's a 2D action game and it's in early access at the moment, but I'll leave a link to it in the description of the video. And on his live stream he made some comments regarding the recently announced Diablo Immortal mobile game that has been, as I say, announced at BlizzCon. David Brevik, as many of you know, is basically one of the lead creators of the original Diablo and Diablo 2 games. Many people are very grateful to the work that he did with those games. He basically helped create the action RPG genre back in the 90s, and the Diablo franchise owes a lot of success to the work that he did there. David Brevik did leave Blizzard some time ago. He's worked on multiple projects since doing so, but he's still remained candid and honest about his views of the Diablo franchise and where it's gone since he's left the company. And that's pretty much what he's done in this case. He's gone ahead and shared his thoughts in a very level-headed way, I think, regarding the recently announced mobile version of Diablo. So we're going to have a look at those comments now. It's interesting actually, Brevik has previously mentioned how things would change at Blizzard now that Activision are the parent company, and unfortunately it seems he's just so often proven right. I think this announcement of a mobile version of Diablo continues to prove him right in this way. But let's move on to the quote here. He begins, and I quote, "I think it's super weird they are having NetEase doing this game for two reasons. One, I thought that Blizzard was high on getting mobile experience and expertise. That's why they made Hearthstone on mobile, which was a stepping stone to doing something bigger." I'm just going to pause there and say that's a really good point. When Hearthstone was announced for mobile release, I do not remember that getting any slack whatsoever. That game just seemed like a natural fit for mobile. And, you know, Blizzard did develop that game and design that game themselves. They didn't outsource it as they have done in this case with the Diablo mobile version. So let's continue on. What they have pivoted to, from what I've heard, a skin of a particular game from NetEase to Diablo is strange. It seems very un-Blizzard-like. End quote. That is absolutely spot on as well. Blizzard historically have been known for putting so much blood, so much passion into the games that they design and develop, that to hear that they've just outsourced this to a Chinese company that just bangs out these action role-playing games but with a Diablo skin, it's not the Blizzard that any of us used to know in any way, shape or form. And it's super sad actually to see them taking this kind of route. You know, they're not really obviously putting much effort into the game, at least not in a historical Blizzard context sense of putting effort into a game, and they're still expecting to be able to get rewarded for doing so. Brevik continues, maybe they saw the potential in that particular game to become something great, and with a few tweaks it becomes something way better than any other mobile game. It seems weird, it's caught me off guard. I don't know what to say other than, this is unusual. I think he's actually been really charitable here. I mean, I'm not going to try and read his intentions. I don't think anybody can do that, but I do think he's being charitable with the way he's presenting his thoughts here. Blizzard seeing potential in this particular game. I don't really buy that, I'm sorry. To me, this is a very corporate project, a way of just making a lot of money with very little risk and very little investment. And the fact that the fans have reacted the way that they have in many ways is a good thing, because I think it gives a message at least. A lot of critics have said about the fans that they're just being entitled and whatnot, but you can't just label somebody as entitled when they criticise something, because that's not what being entitled is about. If we don't criticise things, guys, then things are never going to change. I promise you that. If you don't tell people, you know, when they've done something wrong, they're not going to change that attitude. And I think that actually is the same thing here with Blizzard. We've got to make them know that we're not happy with this. Yeah, they can choose to listen to us or not listen to us, but if we don't even tell them these things, then, you know, they're just going to continue on doing whatever it is that makes a quick buck. So yeah, I don't buy this whole the fans are just being entitled. That's not what it is at all. Brevik continues, in general, I'm not going to judge it until I actually play it. Well, that sounds fair, I suppose. The idea of Diablo on mobile sounds fun. I am intrigued. I would probably, from my own personal opinion, disagree with him there. I'm not intrigued by this project at all, and it's not something I'm interested in. Even if the community had responded well to this, you know, I probably would have kept quiet, but it still wouldn't have been something I was personally interested in, but that's fine. I understand people are disappointed. They wanted Diablo 4. They wanted Diablo 2 remastered, and I don't think Blizzard did a good job of announcing this at BlizzCon and raised the expectations of a lot of the PC gamers and hardcore gamers through the roof to announce this. I think he's spot on with that. This would have been better announced with the Diablo 3 Switch version. At the same time, do I think it's the end of the world? No. End quote. Well, okay, absolutely, it's definitely not the end of the world. No matter what, at the end of the day, Diablo is just a gaming franchise. In terms of, reality and the universe and everything, it doesn't really matter. But it matters a small degree to, a subset of humans on this planet. So that's why we're talking about it. So, sure, not the end of the world, but still worth discussing. Yeah, I think David Brevik is just absolutely on point, really astute with this point that he's made. It was absolutely inexcusable for Blizzard to make this kind of error that they've done in terms of announcing this project. If they had to develop this project for whatever reason to please the bosses at Activision or whatever the case may be, then that's one thing. But to treat the fans the way they have, I think was just a mistake that I personally cannot understand how they made it. As Brevik says, they should not have announced this project the way that they did. If they'd had announced it as a press release along with the Switch version of the game, and then said there's still more projects in the works that we're not ready to announce at BlizzCon this year, so everybody already knew about the mobile game along with the Switch version, and then went into BlizzCon knowing there wasn't going to be any announcements there, I think that would have been a lot better for Blizzard than the way that they did it, by basically confirming for players in many ways, especially through the recent blog posts and that there would be news at BlizzCon, and then to make this the central and in fact only piece of Diablo news, along with having a what's next panel and all of this stuff that was hyping up players, I think was just the wrong way to go about it. And I think that's what Brevik's picked up on here, and it's spot on. Brevik then just finishes with a few words on Diablo 4 and that we should still be expectant towards that game, which is probably still a few years away. But to be honest, pretty much everything he said, not just today, but in general about the Diablo franchise, has been proven right. He suggested some time ago now how, I think it was when StarCraft got remastered, that he doesn't think it's going to be possible to remaster Diablo 2, because, or rather, not that it wouldn't be possible, but it would be a super hard job because of how the screen resolutions and that worked in the original game and how the coding was done for that. And a lot of people were expecting a Diablo 2 remaster at BlizzCon, but we didn't get one. So, perhaps we should be trusting David Brevik a little bit more on some of the things that he says. Not that he's got any inside knowledge. He hasn't. He doesn't know any more about the happenings at Blizzard than you or I. But he has a lot more experience in the Diablo franchise, from a developer's point of view at least, that many of us don't have. But that's Brevik's views on the Diablo mobile version, Diablo Immortal. He, in his own words, says it seems very un-Blizzard-like. And it's not just the fact that Diablo's coming to mobile, I think it's the fact that it's been outsourced to NetEase, which has really taken him by surprise. And I think it's a sad day for the Diablo franchise. But please do share your thoughts in the comment section. Do you agree with Brevik? I'm assuming that many of you are going to, but I'd still be interested in hearing your opinions on that. So thanks for stopping by today, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care.